fundamentally sound economy. The Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, said that again today on the media. Go check it out. It's not my opinion. Well, it is my opinion, but a lot of people have the same opinion. And I want to give you perspective right out of the gate this morning, all right, that you are going to be okay. We are going to be okay. It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable for a little while. And I don't know how long little is, but I can tell you those job numbers are going to get way better. Remember, in February, record jobs added to the economy. So this is not an economic problem. This is a unbelievable disruption. And once we re-engage, things are going to get way better. So please have that perspective. Coronavirus is spurring remote hiring. Now, here's the deal. Hiring is not stopping. It has slowed, but it has not stopped. And in some industries, as I've been saying, day in and day out, the hiring has spiked. But here's what has happened. Because of the virus and wanting to be safe and protect everybody, the remote interviewing via video and phone has obviously spiked. So great article. I just want to share a couple things from this really quickly. From CNBC, Karen Gilchrist wrote this. This is good stuff. She said, number one, be prepared. And you've heard me say that over and over again. More on that in a moment. Be prepared. The idea here is, it's no different than an in-person interview in the fact that you have got to be prepared. You got to be ready to be on your A game. This is a big deal. Number two, be personable. Make eye contact is what we're talking about here. Smile often is what she says, and engage. But let me tell you one thing she didn't say that I want to add. That is break the ice. Try to do a little research on the person who's going to interview you on social media. Find some type of commonality, something, whether it's a TV show or a sports team or something. Early on in the interview, make that connection. It'll really break the ice. Remove all distractions. If you're at home and you got kids, you better come up with a situation, okay, where they're not going to interview you. We've all seen these viral videos where somebody's trying to do a conference call and the kid walks in holding his diaper or something, insane like that. Be prepared for that. Remove all distractions and then make sure you follow up. So let me tell you, I agree with those things. I've got the How to Win the Interview guide, which is free at kencoleman.com. How to win the interview. As I've said before, I'll say it again. Relentless preparation leads to reflexive performance. You want to perform well, then prepare like crazy. All right. And if you download my How to Win the Interview guide, it'll set you up for the remote interview just like it would the in-person interview. This is free. It's one of our 3 Get Hired guides at kencoleman.com. Go get it right now. 844-747-2577. Before we get to the phones, a little bit later in the program, I'm going to talk about how to stay calm during a crisis. How to stay calm during a crisis. We'll also get to the chat room. So fire those chats up. In fact, I better pull that up. So here we go. Let's get that on the old laptop so we're ready to go. And we will get to the chat room coming up. But first, let's go to the phones. Tom joins us in Indianapolis. Tom, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. How you doing today?
I'm living the dream still, Tom. What's going on with you?
You know what? I almost feel guilty telling you this right now with the current circumstances out there, but I've been in 3 different industries throughout my career. I'm approaching 48, and I'm just feeling burned out in sales, and I'm trying to figure out what I should be doing next.
Why do you feel guilty about telling me that?
Well, just in the current circumstances, I mean, there's a lot of people that are really struggling, and I'm fortunate enough to still have my job.
Yeah.
Although there are some concerns, currently I'm in the environmental services industry and I serve construction companies. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now, whether they're going to keep running, whether they're not going to keep running.
Right. Okay. I was just curious. First of all, don't feel guilty. It's just, that's not a good emotion for you right now. The fact is you're looking at the future, and we should all be looking at the future on some level right now. We can't just all be, the sky is falling, the world's coming to an end, because it's not. And so you're thinking about the future, and I love this. So don't feel guilty. All right. So first of all, let's identify what's causing you to feel burned out, because burnout is not an actual medical condition. That is, and the World Health Organization, by the way, clarified that, so I'm not saying anything controversial, but we need to talk, burnout is a symptom. So when somebody goes, I feel burned out, we need to be more specific. And I think there's 5 causes of buildup on the heart, which makes somebody feel burned out. So let me list those for you, and I'm curious which ones you're experiencing. Now, the first thing is no passion for the work. You might be good at it, but you just don't love the work. It doesn't set you on fire. The second cause is toxicity in the workplace. So that's either your teammates, your leader, or the overall culture. Third is you're overwhelmed. You're drinking from a fire hydrant. You just feel like you're drowning the moment you get in the car to head to work. Fourth is you are unrewarded. You're not being recognized and rewarded for your work. You don't feel noticed. And then 5, you're just bored out of your skull. It's just not enough of a challenge. Which of those 5 causes of buildup, which will make you feel burned out, are you experiencing?
I would say right now in the current role I'm in, it probably is a combination of 2 and 5, toxic and bored. It just seems like more and more sales organizations are interested in having their reps log activities than they are actually doing selling.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at that. Let's say that we fix those causes. Number 2 was toxic environment. Number 5 is you're just bored. There's no challenge. If we were to remedy those, like you were in a healthy environment, healthy culture, and you were challenged every day, would you be making this phone call about sales? Or would you be happy to be in sales? And so basically what I'm getting at is this about what you're selling, how you're selling, or where you're selling?
Part of it has to do with where I'm selling. I mean, the current territory is super, super challenging for a number of different reasons. But that I keep going back to the fact that I feel like these organizations, especially large organizations, are just driving the need for us to report activities so they understand or feel as though their reps can be trusted by viewing these activity reports rather than actually helping us focus on the actual selling.
Right. So what I'm curious, you said you felt like you might be bored, but you just told us that your region was very challenging.
Right. Yeah.
Well, then how is that possible? How are you feeling bored if you've got a challenging region?
Well, I think the boredom comes in where we have these reporting requirements, and I'm just constantly doing data entry rather than actually out trying to drive business, right?
All right. So what's your big question for me? Now that I've got a good sense of why you're feeling burned out, what's your question for me?
Well, I'm trying to figure out if I should pivot from sales. Since I've been doing it for some time, I mean, I have a passion around technology, and that was one of the industries that I was in, and it seems like I did best I did do best income-wise.
Were you selling technology?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think it's sales. I don't think that I'm hearing any evidence. I just don't see any evidence that you should pivot from sales, because you didn't answer that number 1's the problem. The number one cause of buildup is no passion for the work. You like selling. I just think that you would actually, let me sell and less paperwork. Salespeople hate paperwork. That's just part of the deal. You're not alone on that deal. So you want to be out engaging with people and customers and solving their problems. That's the engagement that you love. You like chasing it down, hunting them, and dragging it back to the cave, right? And so if I'm doing more selling and I'm selling something that I actually believe in and get excited about, I think there's no buildup at all. So I don't think the answer is to pivot from sales. I think it's pivot to a different company, to a different product, maybe to a different sector. That's what I think.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, as a salesperson, you have got to be in an environment where you can do your thing. Let me run. Let me do my thing. The best environments for salespeople are, listen, I think a straight commission is the best environment because, look, we're going to get out of your way. We're going to give you all the tools, all the support we can, but we're just going to get out of your way. You go kill it and drag it home. And you've got to also, that's the environment you got to be in. And then B, you got to really be excited about the product or the service, the solution that you're providing. If you get jazzed about that, you become an evangelist. That's like next level up from salesperson. And so I think you're looking for that, Tom, and I think you're going to make more money than you ever made. Now, in this season right now, hold tight. Let's not leave where you are now until you got something else to step into, okay? Because this thing is a little topsy-turvy right now. A lot of scared leaders, a lot of people freaking out, don't know what kind of relief is coming their way, what that's going to look like, when are people going to start spending money again. So be aware of that, obviously. I just want to point that out. Let's just sit tight right now. This thing's going to get back to normal. This economy is going to get back to normal soon. But right now, we need to be really, really smart. I don't like any leaps right now. I want little itty bitty steps, one foot in front of the others where we are right now. 844-747-2577. We'll get to your chats soon, so fire those away. I've got the window open here, so we're ready to go. So shoot your questions in. By the way, while you're watching, we're seeing great numbers this week, and I'm so grateful for those of you that are tuning in. This is a message that's needed right now. So please, please, please like today's show. It's right there below the video window. Give us that thumbs up. Subscribe and share to somebody on social media. That helps us tremendously. Next, we go to Lebanon, Tennessee, where David joins us. David, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am living the dream, David. What's happening?
Awesome. Okay, so my fiance is considering moving from a respiratory therapy position on day shift to doing the same job at night. And for a little bit better of a steadier and more stable environment, and a little bit less toxic environment also. Mm-hmm. The shift would be $2 an hour more, and I'm just kind of wondering, what would you ask her to help her come to a decision?
Well, I think you've really identified everything so far. I think you've got two main factors of why she would do this. The first and most important is the less toxic or more stable shift/department. That's the biggie. And so you have to look at that and go, okay, how much of a positive is this going to be for you to get into a more healthy environment and then this different time of day, this different shift? How is that going to positively affect your life? I'd start there. Second thing that I would look at is anytime we look at positives, are there any negatives? But it doesn't sound like there's any negatives, but let's look at those, all right? And then we look at, well, $2 an hour is still $2 an hour, so that's a plus. So is this a situation where she goes, well, I just feel like I need to get out of the toxic environment and I would do it just for that? Or is it I also want to change the time of day that I work? You just have to look at it all. But on the surface, unless I'm missing something, David, the way you laid it out sounds like this is a no-brainer. Am I missing something? What do I not know?
Well, I work days, so we would never see each other except for on the weekends.
Well, okay, now that's an issue.
On the relationship.
Yeah, that's not good.
And then also, I don't know, the night shift is it's not as much fun as it really seems like.
In right now.
She's been ready to quit for some time. Yeah. So this is a better opportunity, I think. Well,
but it might be better, but is it best? So now I know a little bit more, and the relationship factor is an issue. Sounds like it might be more you worried about that than her, right? So far.
A little bit, yeah, sure.
And she's not as, worried about what a night shift might be like as you are. So this is a sit down and this is a couples conversation. And so what might be better might not be best. And I'm taking your feelings into account, but you've got to share those feelings. You have to say, look, you may not know what this is really like until you do it, and have her talk to a few people that actually work nights. That's where I'd start, is have her talk to some people outside of you. Okay. And let's get some objective people in her life that aren't her fiance, and let's see what they say about the downside to working nights. I'd start there. Encourage her to get feedback on the positives and the negatives of a night shift. The toxicity and the better pay, there's no case to be made there. And so that she's kind of, that's a real positive there. There's nothing for you to kind of hack away at on the negative side there, but the relationship issue is obviously the thing you got to talk about. Say, hey, I'm not real wild about never seeing you until the weekend. Now, outside of that, so this is better, but is it best? And this is what I mean. I think you raise a real concern on the relationship issue and the working overnight. I think you raise legitimate concerns, and she may not see it right now. So what I would do is I would say, hey, go get the feedback like Ken told us to. All right. And then I also want her to be looking for other opportunities that would be during the day, better pay, and not toxic, because that would be best. You see the difference between better and best?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. And I've talked to her about looking at different hospitals and around about the area, but it seems like she's really, how do I put this? She's got a lot of, she's got like 10 years invested in this one hospital. And so prying her away from that is a little bit difficult.
Well, what's the negative if she were to leave? Does she have some type of pension that she would be? Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. I'm not exactly sure what all it involves, but she does have some stuff that she would lose.
Well, let me tell you something, David. You know what this is? This is a relationship issue now. It really is. I mean, all the things I told you are still things that I want her to get feedback on. You know, she might go, oh, the nighttime thing is going to be more draining, and that's going to be worse than dealing with some of the toxicity that I deal with. So the physical draining could be worse than the emotional draining. You know, she's got to determine that. I still think you do everything I said, but I will tell you at the end of the day, this is a relationship conversation, and a very big one, because you put a ring on it, man. When's the wedding day?
We haven't set one yet.
Oh boy.
We've been engaged a little bit, but this is
a big conversation, man.
Yes, sir.
This is candlelight dinner. I got to share my heart. Let's talk through this. Okay? That's what this is. And and pros and cons, which means she has to list her pros, okay? She has to list her cons, and then she has to hear your list. That's what this is. A relationship conversation. Appreciate the call. Praying for you guys. 844-747-2577. Hey, before we go to the chat room, tonight's a big night at Ramsey Solutions. If you've been paying attention to any of the social media coming out of here, we have a message of hope tonight. 8 Eastern, 7 Central, DaveRamsey.com is where you can engage. If you want to be reminded, text 33789 to be reminded. Text the word hope to 33789, and we will send you a reminder text. But it's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And Dave Ramsey, Rachel Cruz, and myself, we're going to be bringing you content that will lift you and guide you to a better way forward. Even in the midst of the crisis, if you've lost your job, you feel like you're going to lose your job, or you know you're going to lose your job, or your budget's all out of whack, you don't know what to do. What do I do? We're going to tell you what to do. And we're going to tell you how to do it. And it's going to be live at DaveRamsey.com. That's where you can get the live stream, video live stream. And I'm told SiriusXM is going to be carrying it as well. And the YouTube page for Dave Ramsey, assuming Facebook, the whole 9 yards, just go to DaveRamsey.com. It's going to be right there on the page. And it's absolutely free. Spread the word. Americans need hope now more than ever. 844-747-2577. Let's go to the chat room. Natalie Jr. Mint. I wonder what Natalie's favorite candy is. I'm going to say it's Junior Mint. Madison, I just looked right at the camera, and Madison's face is right above that camera where I'm looking, and I see that you're munching on something. Any chance it's a Junior Mint? Oh, popcorn chips. All right. Back to the chat room we go. I thought that would have, I know you don't eat a lot of candy. All right. It would have been fun, though, had you been eating a Junior Mint as Natalie Junior Mint chatted her question in. Here we go. Are there any jobs that are hiring work from home currently? I've searched online, but I've had no success. I'm interested in getting a work at home job. I got to tell you, this is what I love about being live. I'm going to pull something up right now that I saw last night. And this is only going to take about 10 seconds, folks. So just be patient. I don't understand, Natalie, how you're not finding opportunities to work from home right now. So here we go. Here are 20 virtual companies that are currently hiring remote jobs. So that is working from home. Aha. Automatic. That's 2 T's at the end of that. So it's auto, MATTIC. Clever Tech, Collage.com, Evolving Wisdom, GitLab, Greenback Expat Tax Services, InVision, Love to Know, Moms Rising, Scraping Hub, Simple, The Cheat Sheet, Time Doctor, Togi or Toggi, TOGGI, Toptal, Tribe, Upworthy, Working Solutions, X Team. Okay. This is a site that I follow. I know I just rolled through all that and everybody's going, huh? The source for this is careercontessa.com, careercontessa, CONTESSA.com/jobs. There's more there. I am a well of information, aren't I, Natalie Junior Mint? So don't tell me you're having a hard time finding things. You're just not looking enough, or you're not looking in the right places. I encourage you to get back to looking. Up next is Angel Nunez. Angel. What if I say that? Angel Nunez. Oh, don't take a shot at that. Can you grow a lawn care business with social distancing? Yeah, of course. I don't ever remember. I cut lawns. Well, yeah, I guess there is you know what? So here's how this works. In the old days when I cut lawns, I would cut the lawn and then they'd go give me cash or a check back in the old days when people wrote checks. Some of you listening and watching right now are going, I don't even know what a check is. It was a thing when you write on a piece of paper and you wrote out how much money you're paying somebody, you tear it off, you sign it, and you give it to them, and they take it to the bank, and they get the cash. But nonetheless, I remember that I would cut the lawn and then I'd go collect the money. Well, in social distancing, here's how this works. You call them up, hey, I'm going to come cut your lawn. Just put the envelope under the welcome mat. Great. We're all done. So yeah, you can grow a lawn care business with social distancing. You're going to be communicating via text, phone, email, get out on social media. Say, hey, you need your lawn cut? I'll do it for half the price of anybody else right now. An easy payment system. Put it in a Ziploc bag underneath your welcome mat and I'll get it. And here's the deal. This may not be the greatest time to launch a lawn care business, but in the next 2 months or so, the social distancing is going to ease on some level. This virus is going to level off, folks. And so, if it's 2, 3, 4 months before it's the right time to launch, then you can launch it. But you can definitely launch. 844-747-2577. By the way, right now you can't get in physical proximity with a lot of people, but very soon you're going to be able to. And Dave and the leadership of our company said, hey, let's put out Total Money Makeover, Dave's iconic book with the baby steps in it, and my Proximity Principle book. Both of those are now $1.99. $2 for the audiobook, folks. And you can get that at daveramsey.com/hope. daveramsey.com/hope. And I don't know how long they're going to run that deal, but we've already seen thousands and thousands of people go get that book, get the audiobook. I read it to you, by the way. And I won't have this thing in my throat right now. So that's a good segue. I'm going to have a sip of water, Joe. It's your favorite thing. Lukewarm water. Why? Okay. So I play with Joe and Madison and Nathan from time to time. It really bothers you when I do those things. I want you to tell me why it bothers you. No, what is that? What is it called? All right, so Madison said, have you heard of mesophobia? And I said, no, and that's the fear of hearing that kind of sound. But Joe, that's her. Is she speaking on your behalf as your proxy? You do? What do they say? Who cares? Who cares? I'm being silly. Everybody that's watching right now knows I'm being silly because what I had to do was I had a scratch in my throat. So would you rather hear me clear my throat or would you rather hear me have a sip of water and act like a little kid does when they have a really nice day? They go, they love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Madison's fine with it. Is that what you're telling me? Kind of. You really don't like the sound effect in the mic. Nathan, what about you? No, you could be honest. You don't like it. Nobody likes it. Now, this is fascinating. We're going to get back to the show, but this is fascinating. The very fact that all three of you don't like it makes me want to do it more because I'm just having fun. It's a fun sound effect in the microphone. I want to know what the people in the chat room are saying. Do you like the fun sound effects with the mouth or do you not like it? At which point, if the people don't like it, I'll probably not do it anymore. But if it's just you three, I'm going to have some fun with it. Is everybody saying no? All right, we'll get a vote later. Here we go. I want to teach for a moment. We're having some fun, obviously, folks. You got to have some fun. You can't be serious all the time. I want to talk a moment about what I believe are some practical things that you can do to stay calm in crisis. So here's what's going on. You are getting bombarded with 24-hour cable news, social media, and then you're talking to people that you're doing life with, okay? And right now, the only thing that anybody's talking about is the coronavirus and all the negativity and how does it affect us in very real ways. And it's scary. It's scary stuff. I don't know how you couldn't be worried and scared or at least feel down or negative if you're hearing a heavy dose or seeing a heavy dose of that kind of information. So how do you stay calm in a crisis? And especially this crisis. Here it is, 3 things. Number 1, I think you got to have a partial fast. I do the partial fasting, so does Madison. Are you still doing that, by the way? The partial fasting? Every day. And so what it is you fast for a certain amount of hours, and then you have your meals. And it's really a great, I think, health technique. But I think we have to do the same thing right now on TV. You have to have a partial fast on TV. That means you're only going to get caught up on TV news for a small amount of your day. I mean, a small amount. I think you could go 2 or 3 days without watching it at all. Now, Joe couldn't, but Joe has, we all have 4 basic food groups. Joe has 5. And Fox News is his 5th food group. Am I right, Madison? Yeah. If he could have an IV with Fox News in it, he would do it. He'd be the first person to sign up. I'm feeling frisky today, folks. All right. So here's the deal. You could go a couple days without it. You're going to hear the major stuff somehow. All right. That leads to number 2. You got to have a partial fast from social media because you're getting negative stuff from there too. Now, part of your fasting could be, I'm not going to watch certain channels, or I'm going to unfollow certain accounts right now. Whatever it takes. My point is, you've got to limit your exposure to media, social media, and then the third, negative friends. How many of you right now, you know it, you got some friends in your life that every time you talk to them, they're the real life Debbie Downer from Saturday Night Live. I mean, Debbie Downer. Okay? You could come in and go, well, heard some good news today. Mortality rates are dropping a little bit. Yeah, but did you see that the cases climbed? Our healthcare system is going to be overrun. Maybe true, may not. I don't know. We're seeing that threat. But you get my point. Just because it's true doesn't mean we got to dwell on it and tell everybody else. Hey, it's possible that the sun won't shine tomorrow. Well, how possible is it? Well, the latest report I saw was this, but this guy said this. Okay. Well, I'm telling you, the sun might not shine tomorrow. Did you hear me? It's those friends. And so I'm having a little bit of fun with this, but this is serious stuff. Because here's what we know. When we focus on bad news or negative thoughts, then they perpetuate themselves. You've heard me talk about this. I'm never going to stop talking about the reticular activating system. It's a real thing. Look it up. The more negative I focus on and I allow to stay in my head, then my brain goes and finds more and more evidence and pictures of that. And then the only thing I've got in my head is negative stuff. Then guess what happens? The chemical release, the stress chemical in our body goes bananas. And then it makes it worse. And so then that leads to anxiety. And then it's just this big hamster wheel of negative thoughts, lead to more negative thoughts, to lead to more chemicals being released in our body, more anxiety, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And you can't do that right now. The people in your life, the people that are relying on you, they need you. They need you now more than ever. So you better limit the bad news. I didn't say stick your head in the ground, but I'm saying limit the bad news. Here's what's going on. You realize how much pain is going on in our world on a normal day, not in the midst of the coronavirus? There's a lot of negative stuff out there. Now everybody's in the midst of this one crisis. Like, this is global. And so you have got your own concerns. You got your own pain that you're either worried about or that you're experiencing. And then you see everybody else's pain and it becomes unbearable really quick. Panic attacks, the whole 9 yards, depression. This is real stuff. This is not something to minimize. How do we protect ourselves and keep a sense of calm? Focus on the positives, limit the negative that's being inputted into your head and ultimately your heart, and brace in the now. Brace. Whatever you got to do, survive. And the days are coming where you're going to thrive. That's how you do it. Well, my time is up. I can't stand it, but we will be back. But before I let you go, you matter, and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.